I wrote something down before the wedding. But when I saw Eric and Tracy... No, really, I'm just going to read off this. Good evening, everyone. My name is Bill Connell, and I'm the best man for this evening's festivities. You know, these days, writing a best man speech is much easier with Google. As part of my best man research, I quickly discovered that really what I'm supposed to do is talk about what a handsome, loving, sensitive, downright stud Eric Dunning truly is and really sing his praises. Well, Eric, I'm an awful singer and a bad liar, so you're out of luck. Before I get to the bride and groom, I think it's important to recognize those who raised the two fine people that we're here to support today. So if you could raise your glasses to Jack and Kathy and Dennis and Judy. Cheers. Keep them raised. I like to drink, so. I'd like to keep them raised to the bridesmaids who looked beautiful this evening and still do. And to Karen, who did a great job with her speech. Cheers. One more. Before you put your glasses down, I'd like to keep our glasses raised to those who are most special to me, especially over the next few hours, to the bar staff. I did. You know, Eric and I have been friends for over 14 years. We became great friends our sophomore year in college. That year, he introduced me to such college activities as Anchorman. Now, if you're not familiar with the game, the object is to get 3 to 4 guys on each team, fill a pitcher full of beer, and drink it as fast as you can. As those of you closest to Eric know, this is about as creative as he gets, so well done, Eric. But this was just the beginning. Little did I know, he was just getting started. He was also one of the pioneers of such weekly activities as Box of Wine Mondays, Whiskey Wednesdays, and 30-pack Thursdays. That year, we truly bonded over some great nights. My GPA went from a 3.3 to a 2.5. And that is a true story. Both me and my parents thank you. Now, of course, with most college students, Eric matured from one year to the next. He left behind Anchorman and Whiskey Wednesdays and moved into bigger and better things. I did have the pleasure to see Eric mature junior and senior year into such activities as beer pong, beer die, and playing video games like Golden Tee at our local watering hole in Springfield, Massachusetts. These are games that Eric has continued well into his 30s, and I couldn't be more proud of how you've grown. Now, also in my research, I understand that I'm not supposed to reference women of Eric's past, as it will typically upset the bride. Well, Tracy, the good news is, for most of the time that I lived with Eric, he had an emergency exit in his room. Eric was not often too proud of many of his visitors, so I never had the pleasure of really meeting any of them as they were escorted out the escape hatch of his dungeon. I will say that I did hear the occasional moo or bah coming out of that room, but we'll just leave it at that. Now, I don't want everyone to think that our friendship is based on booze, video games, and ogling women. Eric has been a very important part of my life. He helped to show me that my wife, Danielle, was the one for me. In his first few meetings with my wife, I couldn't help but notice the amusement she got out of Eric's antics and found him very funny and witty. I knew right away that I found the right one, because if she could put up with Eric, she could absolutely put up with me. So I thank you for that. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't know how truly tolerant and understanding Danielle really is. But really, it was a few years ago when I knew Eric truly made the next step into adulthood, when he started to tell me about a new young lady that he was dating. It was over breakfast on our way to go skiing that after about just a few weeks, he could tell that this could be the one. Something that I thought that I would never, ever hear out of the mouth of one Eric Dunning. At that point, I had to meet the woman who tamed the beast. And really, how could Tracy really resist Eric? They met at a bar. I know, shocking. Eric's pickup line was, "I stole some money out of your purse." Very interesting line, but you know what? It worked. He got Tracy's number that night. He then proceeded to text Tracy 2 weeks later, and refer to himself as the Jukebox King, which I have no idea what that means, but somehow Tracy was lured in and he got his first date. Now, you're all probably wondering what Eric's plan was for the new girl. As you may expect, Eric spared no expense. Tracy went to his house and watched the Patriot game. He proceeded to criticize her for her nacho making skills because there was not enough cheese on each and every chip. I know, it sounds like a fairy tale, really. On top of that, they started dating right before Valentine's Day, which for all the single guys in the room, just don't do it. And as you may guess, what did Eric do for Tracy for Valentine's Day? Nothing. Not even a card. It's really no wonder why we sit here today. After I met Tracy for the first time, it was easy to see why Eric was so smitten. She's funny, sweet, beautiful, and most importantly, she could put up with Eric so seamlessly. She balances Eric out in every way, up to and including being able to stay beer for beer with the big guy, something that should not get overlooked. Tracy was everything Eric described, and I knew that someday I'd be standing here talking about my best friend and his new wife, Tracy. Now at this point, it was easy for Eric. He knew he had the right one. He went out and bought the ring. And 2 years ago, he had the opportunity to do what most guys in this room would love to do for their wives. He had Tracy on a Caribbean island, a lovely dinner by the ocean, moonlight reflection on the water, surrounded by friends. He now just had to get down on one knee and ask the question that we all knew the answer to. Just do it, Eric. Just get down, pull out the ring, and ask the question. What could go wrong? As most of you know, we all know what happens next. Eric pulls out a shiny, pretty, black lava rock ring that we bought for $5 because the big guy left the real ring at home in Massachusetts. Luckily, Tracy said yes, and here we are today. Eric, all joking aside, over the years we've become the best of friends. Behind your rough exterior is someone I've always been able to count on, and I appreciate that. I couldn't be more happy that you found Tracy. Tracy, you're quite a woman. You have become the better half of my friend, and you've won over the hearts of everyone in Eric's life, most importantly me. And I'm glad to now call you my friend. I want to end with a quote, one that I feel cannot describe marriage more perfectly. If you could please raise your glasses. Marriage is not about finding the one you can live with. It's about finding the person that you cannot live without. I think you both have found that with each other. To Eric and Tracy. Salute. That's it.